Hello everyone, welcome to Lit Studio by Karishma. So, today we are going to talk about Roman Jakobson, who is a main proponent of formalism. So, we've discussed about formalism and a very main proponent of formalism, Victor Shklovsky. Alright, now we are going to discuss about Roman Jakobson. Alright, so as I've already dealt, he is a very main proponent of formalism and he established Prague Linguistic Circle. See, in the introductory class to formalism, I've talked about three important schools associated with the theory of formalism. Alright, so if you want to have an understanding of what are those three schools are, I'd request you to watch that video so that you can understand what formalism is. Alright, in brief, formalism concentrates on the form of the text. Alright, that is what formalism is encapsulated. Alright, so now this person, Roman Jakobson, has established this Prague Linguistic Circle in the year 1926, and he is also associated with Fernand de Saussure, who is a very key structuralist. Alright, structuralism is another theory we are going to discuss later, and he is a very important structuralist. Alright, he is also associated with this person. Now, as we've already discussed an introduction to this person, we are going to talk about the books he has written. The two important books Roman Jakobson has written are Two Aspects of Language and Two Types of Aphasic Disturbances. Alright, all of this is a title of a single book. Alright, so the title is Two Aspects of Language and Two Types of Aphasic Disturbances. Okay, and now the second book is Functions of Language. Alright, I hope everything is clear till now. Now that we have discussed about the books, we are going to jump right into the concepts given by him. He has given two concepts which are very crucial, not just to this particular theory, but to literary theory in general. Alright, so what are his concepts? His first concept is selection and combination. So, if you understand the terms literally, selection means selecting of words and combination means combination of words. Alright, so he says that language is used only through these two processes. These two are the ways a language operates. That's what Roman Jakobson says. He says that language operates through two processes. Those processes are selection and combination. Okay, so now people use selection to defamiliarize the language in poetry. Before going on to the depth of what selection and combination means, we are going to understand it on the surface level. So what does selection means? Selection means, simply put, selecting of words. For example, if I say a sentence called I live in a house. Alright, here I'm selecting the word house. For example, I could select a word home, or I could select another synonym or a word that could replace it, like palace, or I could say cave, etc., etc. So these are the words among which I've selected the word house. Alright, this is what selection means. You select a particular word to go with the context of your utterance or context of your sentence. Alright, so you select a particular word out of a bunch of words to use it in a particular context. That is what selection means. Alright, now to understand the situation of combination, we'll take the same sentence. Alright, combination is a group of words. So what does the sentence I live in a house in combination reflect? So it's I plus live plus in plus a house. Alright, now a combination or a sum of all these words will make this particular sentence. Alright, so that is what combination means. Combining the group of words to make a sentence is called combination. That is another operation of a language. So now, as we've discussed, selection is used to defamiliarize a language. So, when we are using a particular word in context with another word, so in poetry, if you use, there is another example coming in the later part of the video where you will be understanding what this particular sentence clearly means. All right. So you use a particular word to defamiliarize the concept and make it a little bit complex so that the poetry would be enhanced. So that is the role, the part selection plays in poetry. All right. The process of selection is called paradigm. So now Roman Jakobson names the process of selection as paradigm, and he also names the process of combination as syntagm. All right. It is a group of words make sense only with their relationship with other words in the group. All right. That is what I've discussed. I think you should keep these two examples in your mind so that it would be easier for you to understand the concept of selection and combination. And now he also goes on to say that these two are not just the functions of language but also functions of brain. All right, human brain undergoes these particular functions not in relation with just language but in any particular instance. All right. And he also gives another concept called metaphor and metonymy. And we as literature students should already know the idea of metaphor. He says, according to Roman Jakobson, metaphor is a device that allows poets to create a new context for the message, thus transforming the literal meaning of the words into something else. Poetry in particular is seen by Jakobson as a realm where metaphor is prevalent. All right. It is very important for poetry to use metaphors and other literary devices to enhance its literary quality. The nature of literariness would be enhanced through the uses of metaphor and other literary devices, serving as a primary means of achieving poetic effects. Metaphor in Jacobson's view is a way of condensing meaning, all right, allowing further expression of complex ideas in a condensed form. It is a mechanism for creating new meanings and associations, thereby enriching the language and enhancing the communicative potential of literature. What do you mean what do you understand when I said that it is a form of condensing meaning? For example, when I'm trying to say, for example, when a poet tries to say that his beloved is so beautiful that her cheeks are so red and she is very tender or she is very delicate and she also has that kind of aura that she attracts everyone and her fragrance is so good, and if he wants to convey all these ideas through his poetry, he could simply condense the meaning and say that her beloved is a rose. All right. And then all the features that he tries to depict which are present in his beloved is like a rose. So that is why here the meaning of the entire feeling that the poet wanted to convey would be condensed in a single word. That is, he represents his beloved in a rose. All right. That is what the condensation of meaning means. And now, according to Jacobson, language has bipolar structure. What is bipolar structure? When he simply means that language oscillates between two poles. The two poles of the language are metaphor and metonymy. Now that we have discussed metaphor, here the process of selection would lead to metaphor. All right. See, that is what we talked about. I live in a house, I live in a home, I live in a palace, and something like that. For example, if I can say Denmark in Hamlet, the work Hamlet says Denmark is a prison. All right. So what does the word prison represent? A prison represents it's a very congested, or he feels very suffocated in that particular area. That is the reason why he used prison as a form of condensing of meaning. All right. He used it as a metaphor. So the process of selection, here he could say, I feel very suffocated in Denmark. But he selected the word prison, and which led to the metaphor. All right. So now metonymy is substituting a part for a whole. For example, the White House has approved it. So the White House is a building. It cannot approve anything. But the President of India who resides in the White House is represented by the White House, right? So the White House has approved it, means the President of the President of America has approved it, all right? Jacobson says poetry is metaphoric and prose is metonymic in nature. Obviously, in poetry we use as many literary devices as possible to enhance its literary nature. So he says that inevitably poetry is metaphoric and prose is metonymic in nature. So that is it for this class, guys. I hope you understand everything, the books of Roman Jakobson and also the concepts related to him, which are selection and combination and also metaphor and metonymy. And also, if you want to understand the concept of defamiliarization, which was given by Victor Shklovsky, please, I suggest you to watch the video on Victor Shklovsky, which was made before this, and I will also link that video in the description box as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you.